We have since gone back and looked at our process on how these types of cases are handled. And I, as police chief, want to be notified anytime there's an assault that this serious occurred in any one of our schools. That didn't happen in this case.
While there's been zero information to lead us to believe that this was a racially motivated altercation, we are not blind to the fact that racial dynamics are always present.
And by now, most of you and much of the nation has seen this incredibly disturbing video of ex-Fresno Unified Principal Brian Volhart violently shoving a 9-year-old student with special needs to the floor at Walters Elementary. 3 months after the incident, he was finally charged with a cruelty to a minor. It happened back on June 7th. 2 days later, Volhart resigned after he was put on administrative leave. Less than 2 weeks later, Volhart was then hired as a vice principal for Golden Plains Unified in San Joaquin. Immediately following the release of the video last week, Volhart was put on administrative leave. Now, a week before the June 7th shove, Fresno Unified board member Veva Islas confirming with us Volhart had another physical altercation with the same student, where he pinned the student's shoulder to the ground with his knee for several minutes, but no action was taken. Brian Volhart will be arraigned September 26th, but the court of public opinion has been vast and swift. So I want to bring in two panelists that can advance this conversation, and frankly, it's a national one, from the racial side of things to the legal battle ahead. Fresno Unified trustee Keisha Thomas is here, and also KMJ contributor, Valley prominent lawyer Mark Capitan has his own show on KMJ, Mark Capitan Show. So thank you both for being here. And first, I want to just start with this. I'm a parent of a 9-year-old child myself. I was so sick to my stomach when I first saw that. Just initial thoughts when you saw it.
Eyes watered. I couldn't believe it. I was sick that someone would hurt a baby like that, period.
Your quick thoughts.
I got to say, I see the same thing. It is a shocking moment. I see it from the boy's point of view that it's shocking. Being a defense attorney, I also realize that there's a person there that has likely lost everything. His career is likely gone because of it. So I saw both sides of it. I got to say that.
Keisha, this happened June 7th. When did you first see the video?
We didn't see the video until we came back in August.
Why?
Because we're down. We don't go to school just like you all, just like the children don't go to school. So after everything was collected, there was an investigation and we came in, then they finally had to go ahead and tell us what had happened.
I look at that and I say to myself, and you just say you're a criminal defense attorney, so right. I'll come back and ask you, if that happens anywhere else, aren't they booked and fingerprinted? It's assault.
Not always. It is an assault. It is technically a simple assault as far as the actions are concerned. It is more egregious because of his position of trust, also the fact that he's an adult and it's a child, so it's a willful cruelty that can be charged as a felony or a misdemeanor. And in many assaults, especially these days when there's jail overcrowding and no one's doing anything about it, a lot of times they are cited out, or it is sent to the district attorney's office for further investigation.
I want to tell everybody at home as well, tell you guys, I did speak with Volhart's lawyer, Roger Wilson, today. He did not want to provide an official statement because he says he's still waiting for the DA's evidence in the case. He hasn't read it all. He doesn't know everything yet. But he did say this: it was out of character for his client to do what happened. There's also no audio in this clip. Can you shed any light on why isn't there any audio?
We don't have audio on the video cameras at schools. That's just the bottom line. Now, I have asked that maybe it's time, because you can get sound bites, and that would have helped us. The other part is this. You never treat a child that way. We're talking about a special needs kid. If you get that mad, it's time to walk away. And the fact that we've heard that that's not his only incident with a black child. Let's say what it is. Why does this always happen with black children? They don't do our counterparts like that. It never happened. I have never seen it happen.
I'm going to ask you this in just a moment. I'm going to come back to that thought in just a moment. But again, no audio, legal side now, no audio.
Very difficult.
Very difficult. So,
yeah. Leaves a lot up to interpretation, and that's the one thing that you don't want to leave for the jury, is just pure interpretation. You would love to have that audio evidence to see what led up to that point. And you could say all you want that there's no justification for it, but there was something that triggered the reaction, even if it was inappropriate.
All right, let's get back to this thing. Bob Nelson said there's zero evidence this was a racially motivated incident. But in the public's eye, the question would arise, and it's arisen with me after looking at this. If the child was white, would it be the same treatment?
No. And if the teacher or principal was black, it still wouldn't be the same treatment because he would have been handcuffed and hauled off to jail right then. Period.
You're saying it's racially motivated then?
Absolutely.
Is it a hate crime?
What's upsetting to me is the statement.
Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
Could it allegedly be a hate crime?
Yes, sure, if there was the evidence of it. The problem is the statement by superintendent and Keisha, you know, the statement is in the void. You could say culturally, historically, whatever you want to, but we have to look at this individual case, and you can't take a case that's in the void and say that it's a hate crime with no evidence of it.
I want to get to this because you know, this happened, and I saw other people in the video, and they did nothing. They did nothing. Listen, I'm going to tell you people at home, I don't think I could have just stood by and did nothing.
No. And the other part of this,
is that being complicit?
No.
Is that why did that happen?
I would not have stood by and done nothing. And it tells me that he was very comfortable in his action because no one moved. When no one moves on a campus, that means that they fear for their jobs. So we have to take that into consideration as well. And I received a call from a parent that says that something happened a couple years ago and it was never fully investigated when he was vice principal somewhere else. So this is an ongoing issue with him, and he's been shaken up and thrown to another campus, just like many Fresno Unified employees have.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that is a troubling issue, is that there's evidence in the past potentially of prior allegations, et cetera. However, I got to say, once again, taking the defense attorney's standpoint, if no one moved, then the conjecture that I have to impart to a jury is what was going on, that the others didn't find his reaction as shocking as we see it on this video. So what was leading up to it?
You know, this conversation can happen all day long, but I do want to get one thing in. We're short on time. And I want to address that fake 911 call, that hoax of the two active shooters armed with AR-15 stormed Bullard High School. Totally fake. We talked about this with the council member Carbasi. You know, let's listen to what Lisa Smitkamp had to say during the press conference.
So I am going to implore every voter, every citizen, every resident of this state to think about who you vote for. Ask your people who you vote for in the legislature, specifically the people who are in the Public Safety Committee of the Senate.
Okay, so Lisa Smitkamp saying, look, our hands are tied. We can't really do anything even if we find the person. Nothing may ever happen to them. They may not even serve jail time. That statement with the hoax, you make of what?
Number one, if it's a child on our campuses, I'm sure there will be something done. They won't be able to just live free and this bad thing has happened. It was totally toxic and scary for my child on Bullard campus to be involved in this.
Your child was at the Bullard campus?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He was at the campus when the lockdown happened. He was in class, and it was horrific.
Tell me about the trauma that he has.
There was so much trauma. He came home and he talked about it. And then I got phone calls from cousins and nieces and friends, and their children were traumatized. But I have to say, there was one teacher. I have to give him his props. He was awesome. He took the kids in the dark room. He gave them coloring books. He gave them snacks and water, and he tried to make sure that his kids were okay. So
real quick.
Yeah, listen. I don't have kids. I give her all the comment in this because I don't have the kids. I do, though, think it's indicative of what we see on the internet, that kids are doing pranks with no consequences, and whether the parents or the schools or the law enforcement comes down on them, someone needs to come down on whoever may have done this.
I got to end it there. Mark Capitan, Keisha Thomas, thank you. Tough conversation to have, but we're going to have it anyway. All right.